Welcome to First Things First. I'm Brooke Blutton. My pronouns are she and her.
I'm Matty Mills. My pronouns are he and him. And before we get started, we'd like to acknowledge the custodians of the land on which we record. And today, we're all in the studio here on Gadigal land, so we'd like to pay our respects to their elders. And I reckon we should just get straight into it.
Let's go. We have some really exciting guests today. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Who's your mom? Where you from?
My name is Lele. I am a very proud West Papuan woman. My dad comes from Biak Island in West Papua, and my mother is from the Wandama tribe in West Papua as well.
Oh, beautiful.
Stunning.
Yama Yama. I'm Mitch Tambo, proud Gomeroi man. And it's an honour to be here today to share and yarn with you two, Deadly Mob. And by the way, I think it's only right we give you your flowers, eh? You're just winning awards and just doing all kinds of crazy things, eh? Like, Deadly
thank
Mob.
you.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a bit of a surprise, honestly.
was.
We didn't really know that we were up for that award.
Funny enough, we nearly bailed. Like, he
Yeah.
was wanting to bail, and I was like,
Once
no.
the Best Indigenous Podcast Award was announced, I was like, well, why
damn.
don't we just go, you know?
Yeah.
Then the host, Kate Langbrook, said, we've only got 3 awards left. And ours was the third last. So it was the Champion Award, which is voted across all nominations.
Wow.
And so it was a big award, you know,
Wow.
it's sort of one of the big ones of the night. And we didn't know we were even in the running. We just sort of, why did we sell ourselves short and not even put us in, in the running? I don't know.
I don't know. It's like, it's a bit surreal. And I'm sure, like, there's been moments in both of your lives where you, like, not that
Count
I second...
yourself out.
Yeah, you do. Before you're even in the running. Or, like, you already kind of, like, shot yourself in the foot before you even, like, started walking or whatever. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just felt...
Surprised, though.
Yeah,
It was. It really
awesome.
was.
Truly
I was
was.
gobsmacked. I was
Yeah.
real, like, Oscar award winning. I was like...
We at the it was dramatic.
I was
Like the way that we walked up to that stage was like, oh my god.
Because we were actually genuinely surprised.
Yeah, we were in shock. But
Anyways, not about
enough
us.
about
But
us.
thank you. Yeah, I was like, okay,
Thank
can we
you.
do this? Like,
But thank you so much. Look, I
Yeah.
want to put it out there. Mitch and I, we go way back.
Yes.
Way
I
back
heard
to the
this.
muddy waters of the Peel River.
Exactly right. I mean, Mitch came into my life when I was a young little teenager
Yes.
at Peel High School,
A rebellious adolescent, some may
okay,
say.
we're going to get out all the secrets, are we?
No, tell us. So your first meeting was with little Maddie.
Yeah.
With the little Matty, yeah. And I was, what was I, like an Aboriginal aide
Yeah.
at the school, and Matty was just this rebellious dude, just getting around, causing all kinds of trouble. No,
Why
he wasn't
doesn't it-
really.
doesn't
He was
surprise
always
me.
destined for greatness. But yeah, it is funny that we come from that
know.
same neck of the woods.
Yeah, your mum was my teacher.
Yeah,
you
I know,
know?
it's crazy.
And it's so great to see that you've obviously gone on to achieve incredible success. One of the first big moments for you was the Australia's Got Talent.
Yes.
Tell me about that experience.
Yeah, look, I got asked to appear on the show after maybe doing like 3 of my very first live shows as a so-called singer-songwriter. They reached out and said, let's do it, Let's see what happens, see if we can survive it. And little did I know some gold confetti was going to rain down upon me, and we'll go to the next round and end up taking on You're the Voice, which was a crazy journey. Obviously, Lela's my wife. She was with me throughout this big journey. And I remember sort of taking it on, just going, man, this is kind of like the unsung anthem of every B&S ball out in the bush. I don't know how this is going to go for me right now.
Anthem.
But let's do it. It's like
Yeah.
the most karaoke song you'll ever come across.
Yeah.
And we went for it, and it's been an incredible journey.
But you translated it, didn't you? Is that from my memory?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. So
you fully
got the
changed.
song. I was put on the table,
Yeah.
should we do this? I said, yeah, let's do it. So we translated. I got with Arnie Bernadette Duncan out there in Boggabilla. Shout out to Arn, and translated and put it out there, and the rest is kind of history.
Where were you sitting? Like in it? Were you behind or were you?
So I wasn't there at the first audition.
No, you left me to go do a gig at
didn't.
another stadium. How dare you go
Work got to come first. Someone got to pay the bills.
Well, there's that Rod Laver Arena and singing, and I'm just there alone in some bathroom trying to just remember these
come
lyrics.
on. No, but I'm very proud, and I wasn't able to be there for a few of the big performances, but I was definitely there in spirit, and I was always on the phone. I think it was the final. I was there in the crowd,
in the crowd?
and I thought you got robbed. But
Whoa!
What year was that? 27.
19 I was on, yeah.
So long time, and like,
Yes.
how has music changed like since for you, like from that experience?
Yeah, look, it's changed heaps because obviously when I went on there, I had no sort of intention to end up, signed to one of the biggest record labels in the world and go on this crazy journey at the time. I just really wanted to just share culture and just really show. My whole intention and goal on there was just to show the world and wider community that our culture's alive, it's thriving, and you can have light skin and look like me and be a proud black fella and carry culture. Because I think a lot of the times people, that don't know much about us, they look for someone that's visibly black to go, I'm going to get culture from you because But in the way that things have happened, you could see someone that appears that way and they know nothing, unfortunately, because they've been taken away or things have happened. Or you can see someone like me that's light and you've been lucky to grow up in community and have a great immersion, and understanding. Yeah. So I just really wanted to get out there and just represent and be true to me and be all of who I am. And I had no idea of what was around the corner and what was about to happen. Yeah.
Well, the nation really connected with that performance. You're the voice. You obviously then went on to perform it around the country, at big events like the NRL and stuff. So has that moment, would you say that was the moment that sort of was the springboard into music for you? Because before you're talking about, culture, music is our culture, but were you always wanting to be a musician, or did you realise something in that moment?
Yeah, look, it's not to sound arrogant, but I've never once said in my life, hey, I want to be a singer. Yeah. I want to be a songwriter. From about the age of 15, I knew that for the rest of my life, I just wanted to know and understand who I am as an Aboriginal person and be able to share and celebrate that. So when this happened, my first time, actually singing was You're the Voice in our language, and I'm doing it in front of the whole nation / world. That was my first time. And I know it sounds cliche and you see movies and stuff, but I was 5 minutes from going out, looking in the mirror, just going, come on, man, you have to remember these lyrics. You have to remember it. Yeah. And I got to a point where I was like, well, I'm done now. I've got to go. I can't remember a thing. Yeah. And all of a sudden it just come to me on the stage and I did it, Because I'd never actually...
That makes my tummy really feel like...
I mean, my team were like, you know what? Because I do sing 1% of it in English. And that 1%, they were like, let's not worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's too much pressure. Because obviously I'm a fluent English speaker. I don't speak Gomeroi. But I only ever really grew up singing in Gomeroi. I never grew up wanting to be a singer. So the idea of singing in English was really exposing and just so much anxiety around that. Yeah. Where singing in language just feels like I'm just being me, just telling story. Yeah. So the last minute they're like, just don't worry about it. Just dance. I was like, come too far now. I've got to do it. Wow. So my first time singing in English on a stage was on the show and just doing it.
Wow. Yeah. And then obviously from that moment, you've worked very closely together. Yes. You've travelled a lot, you've toured, you've released music. You have a way of releasing iconic covers. Yes. So what is it about taking a song that is so iconic that everyone knows and then putting a First Nation spin on it that is important to you, Mob?
Yeah, look, I think at the time it was why do I want to do this? Like I said to you before, it's the biggest unsung anthem of the country, but it's also everyone karaoke. This song's just getting absolutely annihilated, and people just get pulled apart for doing it. Yeah. So when it came on the table, I was like, well, what's it really about? And the story that was given to me was about being a voice against domestic violence and stepping out, and I could relate to that. But I was like, you know what? There's so many of our mob struggling. We're so overrepresented in all these harsh statistics. I just want to be a voice that the sooner we can just come together and love one another, regardless of race, religion, gender, sexuality, and class, the sooner we can just create a beautiful platform for the kids of our community and let that flow out to all kids, that they can just be all of who they are. Yeah. You don't have to be that kid that's, hiding in the closet and doesn't want to come out and identify as gay or whatever it is. And all of a sudden, they take their life. If we could just create something that was built on that love and acceptance, we'd just be keeping kids, and kids could celebrate all of who they are. And, it would flow out that, there could be a young Muslim sister in a hijab that wants to rap in her lingo and she can step out, just be who you are. And it was crazy. After it, the love that flooded in initially was out of this world, because I thought, man, I'm just going to get hammered. And there was this one night, wasn't there, Lele, where I got this voice message on Facebook. Yeah. And this sounds like I'm stereotyping, but it sounded like some old farmer dude out in the middle of nowhere that rang me late at night, this old ringer,
but that's a
maybe Caucasian background.
Maybe that would typically love that song.
Yeah, right? Exactly. And be very attached to it.
Exactly.
And he rang me, he goes, Mitch, mate, I'm just calling you, mate.
Standing my thongs.
You're the voice, mate. Just want to say thank you so much, mate. And then he just goes, anyway, mate, love you. Good night.
Oh, bless. Sounds
And I was
like he was
wow.
inspired.
Yeah.
Like,
And I had other
midnight.
It's crazy, wasn't it, Lele? I'm like running out to Lele going, listen to this.
probably
And,
had a few tinnies.
Yeah, probably had a couple of
Totally.
tinnies, the vibes out in the middle of somewhere. And I had another fella reach out. I thought initially it was going to be that style. And he actually goes, I've been a ringer my whole life, mustering cattle with lots of black fellas.
Yeah.
I've always felt this really weird connection to the land. I saw you get up, with fair skin and so proud of who you are. And I got my kids to go on an ancestry search. Found out, one of our grandfathers or whatever was Aboriginal. And now I understand why I've had this connection to you, your people and culture. And just thanks for stepping out and doing your thing.
Just
So it's been
through
a mixed
music
bag.
and
Through
that
music.
song.
It's been crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Bless
Yeah.
John Farnham, he's real sick at the moment.
Well,
Yes.
I think he's come on the other side of it now,
Okay,
right? Like
yeah.
he's sort of on his healing journey. Yeah. Well,
bless.
Jess and Guy Sebastian just did that tribute at the Logos.
Yes,
which was epic,
beautiful
and
tribute.
It would have been amazing for you to step out.
Where was I, Maddie? You need to put a word
You know
in,
what, Braz? When they were singing, when she came out, she was
Actually,
singing You're the
though.
Voice, I was like, wouldn't it be amazing for you to come out and sing a bit in language?
Yeah,
but
I loved it.
maybe next time.
Totally. And I mean, I've been blessed to obviously sing it with John
Yeah.
and Brian May from Queen and bless her, Olivia Newton-John. And,
Yeah.
through the campaign and stuff when John was crook, they asked me to front his band and sing on his behalf.
wow.
So I've been really blessed in the sense to have his backing. And I
Yep.
think he's a really big advocate for our people and
Yeah.
for positive change and letting that wind shift in the right direction for us, which is great,
Yeah, well, I want to ask you, Lele.
Yeah.
You obviously, you've been on this journey together, but before music, have you always, before the Australia's Got Talent and before
Yeah.
that moment, were you always a singer? Did you always
I've
perform?
always been a singer and
Yep.
I've always performed. I've been in the industry for a long time.
Yeah.
Before what I'm doing now, I was doing a lot of kind of political activism through music.
Yep.
So I did that advocating for West Papua with a lot of different bands, and I was blessed enough to do it on many stages around the world.
Yeah, wow.
And
You guys
Yeah.
are a couple goals. I'm like, how do I get this? Because you also did teaching and social work as well. So I'm like, this is iconic. Like, where do I? Like, I just think what a boss mix. And
you.
did music bring you guys together, or did you? how
yeah,
did
the
you-
arts definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
arts,
Culture definitely number one.
Definitely
Yeah.
culture.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the thing that really brought us together was seeing how in love we are with our respective cultures and how
Yeah.
much
Yeah,
we just want
beautiful.
to celebrate and share that. And I had no idea really about West Papua until Lele back then. Probably still had that boy from the bush kind of,
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To learn about Lele's story and struggle and obviously Lele being a refugee and stuff, I think it really resonated with us in our journey too, So we just, it was like that. We met and then we just kept bumping into each other. It's like that synchronicity started to happen, and then Lele chased me and wouldn't let me
Oh,
be.
yeah.
She hooked me.
Oh, whatever. You probably
She chased me down. She said, I like this Tamworth fella. Let's go.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
Lele reckon, no, he keeps following me around. Can somebody stop this fella?
yeah. Exactly.
Stop. And now you have beautiful girls. How many?
Yes. So we have, there's 4 altogether.
Yeah.
So when Mitch and I met, I was a single mum with three daughters. And we have one together.
Yes.
Stunning.
Phoenix, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of singing and
Yeah.
music at home?
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, our eldest Sophie,
Family
she's
album?
on the stage with us.
Yeah.
Family
Cute.
album.
Yeah.
Oh, anything's possible.
Our eldest daughter, she comes on the road with us as well. She sings and she's done some backing vocals and stuff on
Yeah.
stage with us. So that's been pretty cool.
My
That's-
dad honestly says innately mob are singers, songwriters, storytellers. They're all that, but they don't want to title and they never claim that. But innately we are that.
Totally.
You're not being arrogant saying I'm a singer or I don't know. It's just a part of us. It just flows, I guess, within us at
Yeah,
different points in our
totally.
life.
Yeah, it's who
I
you
mean,
are. It's who we are.
who we are.
It's
Don't you
not
reckon?
we're like
Yeah, totally.
we're born that way. It's not like we had to go and study
Yeah,
it and learn about it.
Totally.
I would say I'd never sung in my life ever, and I just did finish
Until
acting
recently.
school, and I performed and I sang in front of my school cohort, and it was the most liberating thing I've ever done. But the thing was, I've always enjoyed singing. I've always, and it brings me so much joy. And I didn't want to say that I was a singer because I wasn't good at it. And I'm like, you don't have to be good at it to enjoy it. So I'm like, well, I am a singer. Like, because I sing all day. Like, you know, so I hate that there's this real thing. Like, if you're not good at it, you can't be it. And it's like, well, no, but you can enjoy it.
When you realise that the country or the world resonates with what you're doing, it's putting culture and music and putting it together and then putting it out there. Was that something that you thought, oh, okay, well, then that's where I'm going to stay and
Not
that's
at
what I'm
all.
going to put out?
No.
No?
So I've made a commitment, like before this even happened, like Lele and I, when we first started dating or whatever, we would sit in the car for hours and just talk and speak out what we wanted our lives to be like together. If we were together, what we could achieve and what we could do and how we could impact our people and how we could help other people. So it's always been about that. But what happens is when you bust out into a big machine that the entertainment industry is, it's really quick if you don't have that sense of purpose or self-awareness to get molded into what people want you to be.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I've had a constant fight the whole time of staying true to who I am and keeping my own integrity in my music and keeping my own identity in who I am, because you know, you get pushed in, they go, oh, you're the voice, 1 million streams, do more of that, do more of that. But it's like, well, that's
I did
cool.
that. I want to do other things.
Yeah, but it's like, I understand that, but I'm not just going to do any song because it's going to go well. I need to do a song. If I'm going to flip it, that actually can genuinely mean something to me and have essence to it.
Yeah.
So, you know, like Great Southern Land, that was put on the table for years before I said I really want to go ahead with it. And because I got to a point and was like, okay, I can understand bringing the spirit of our people into it, what that means in terms of celebrating this country and the spirit that flows in this country and bringing everyone together. So it all has a place. Absolutely everybody. It's the same thing. It goes without saying how it resonates with my own message and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's been really difficult. Like Lele's been with me many times while I've bawled my eyes out and things like that, because you're constantly told, you know, you're white, you're black, sing like this, sing like that, be like this. Heaps of people over here who you think are going to support you and collaborate with you and work with you, you don't hear from, they don't get back to you, because, you know, you're continually staying true to who you are. And I think sometimes because I'm not angry and we're not bitter together, that we celebrate and we push a message of unity and healing and walking through truth telling. Some people don't like that, you know, like the amount of times I get labeled as an activist and things like that on piece of paper. I'm not an activist. I've never tried to be. But as soon as you're a black fellow and you've got a voice, immediately you're labelled as political and an activist.
I really
and,
relate to that.
you know?
Yeah.
So I think we've really worked hard, hey, Lily, to
challenge that.
just stay true to who we
Stay
are, not
true.
get lost,
Yeah.
not get lost in it. And it can be a lonely journey because, you know, when you're like that, you don't often get invited to certain things that you want to be at because you're not fitting the mold and you're not conforming and, you know, you're quietly just trying to stay true.
Like, I find it really difficult sometimes, especially with that activist part that you just said. I think when I was filming The Bachelorette, like, I guess I got kind of thrusted into this crazy world, which I often talk about. Had no experience in media, had no experience, but because I was really passionate about working with young people and, you know, I had innately, we're all political being black fellas.
Yes.
Like we have to stand up for our mob. And I got pushed that activist sort of title too, and I was like, no, I'm just passionate and I just care about my mob and my community. Like, I want them to do well. And like, I remember sitting in an interview chair when I was filming The Bachelor. This was first, like 2018. And I was like, hi, I'm Brooklyn. And like, you know, I was like real proud. I'm a proud Aboriginal woman, like from Western Australia. My mob's Noongar, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, can you like speak Aboriginal? And I was like, I can say hello. I was like, I could say more, but I was like, fuck you. Like, and I was like, I'm not going to do that. Like, that's just... Yeah, I can say hello, but what is that going to do? And I like wore my like shirt, and they're like, that's a really cool shirt. And then I did another interview and they're like, you should wear your shirt. And I was like, what? Like my flag shirt? And it was like, this is my first year season. And I thought, fuck, I'm never coming back to this show. But I think this is what you learn too. I learnt to navigate those types of conversations, luckily, because I had my mob behind me as well. And I could sort of say, like, look, we don't really say that. You don't say half. You don't say quarter. You don't say these shit terms. Like, they don't make, like, you don't call someone a fucking half-caste. Like, and I've challenged that. And I'm sure we've had to many times in our life. And I'm so glad I have had that backing, and I know some young mob don't have that I don't know,
Inner
like,
strength.
inner
Yeah.
strength or that like grit to be like, yeah, that's not what we say,
totally.
or the confidence.
Yes.
It's the confidence just yet. And I'm glad I did, but there are times when I've had to navigate this world and felt like, fuck, am I just conforming here because I need that?
Yes.
You know, and like I've had to do things like that. Like I've had to say yes. I'm like, show face, do that. Like especially in the Bachelorette format, it's very fluffy and gross. But I'm so glad I did.
Oh, they're great experiences.
Now I get to do all these other things.
Yeah.
And I get to pick
awesome.
and choose. And
Totally.
I'm sure you guys are at that stage where you're like, no, I'm picking and choosing.
Has there been a moment where you've sort of crossed that line of conforming to something and then gone, fuck, I didn't mean to? Because I think that there's always moments even in my career where I've sort of gone, you know, like, oh, you have to pick your battles, you know?
do.
And it's like, what,
So
like sometimes you have to, no, I wouldn't say that you have to conform, but sometimes I have. Where I'm going with this, with you, Mob, is that being a part of a system, record labels, they're really... I think that there's big issues there in
They
terms of...
categorize,
Well,
right?
we're independent.
Yeah.
So we're independent now.
But you came from one of the big
Yeah, it
ones.
came from
Yeah.
one of the biggest
Yeah.
machines in the world.
Yeah.
Look, my journey on there, it was what it was. I'm grateful for it, and I'm also grateful for where I'm at now. You got to take, there's pros and cons with everything. And I think with my thing, without isolating it to the record label and just the industry in general, is I don't fit the mold at all. I'm the opposite of what the system wanted from the get-go when they started to, steal our kids and try to breed our colour out. And I'm the complete opposite, because here I stand in front of you, sitting here with you. I'm very fair-skinned. The opposite is, though, inside I'm black as. I've been through ceremony. I practice culture. I sing in language, but I dress in bright pop style colours. And this nation's just not ready for someone like me. And that's always all we get is, we love him, but we just don't get it. But if like Pitbull rocked up here, or Ricky Martin, and sung in South American and put on a big pop show, we'd be like, oh, I get it, that's cool.
Yeah.
But here I come. And it's like, oh no, we were thinking that, we could probably put Mitch in some more neutral colours, and we're thinking, let's get rid of like the bright purple lights and stuff. Maybe we'll add some more earthy like reds and oranges, make it feel a bit more deserty.
Oh, nice. It's the same vibe.
And some red, black, and yellow.
Can you talk
Yeah.
Aboriginal?
It's constant.
All of that,
Yeah.
and that's my constant
There's nothing
fight
more
is,
cringe when someone turns up in red, black, and yellow at the NAIDOC ball, though.
It's just, and I look, red, black, and yellow is great. Our mob take a lot of pride in it.
Red
but
pants, yellow shirt, black
Gross.
day. I'm like, oh, cars, you got to go home.
my thing is that, when people have a crack, is like, look, if you want to talk about culture, go look outside and look at country, because every colour I got on me now is reflective of country.
100.
The sunset, the sunrise, and everything. Don't box me into red, black, and yellow, because we're actually more than that.
Yeah.
That's great. We get to use those three colours to symbolise and reflect us as a whole unity.
Yeah,
But it's not of all who we are. So yeah, my journey's been very much that, and I think the thing, that's been obviously the biggest blessing is to have Lele beside me, because it's been quite dark at times, and it's been one hectic roller coaster. But when we talk about, have I ever had to sacrifice who I am? Look, there's times where, you gotta play the game and smile and stuff. But there's things where I just won't, and they're the things that I've always said to Lele. I just couldn't sell my soul, just to get to the next level.
Totally.
Because
You
I
trust your
wouldn't be
gut
able
and
to
your
look at my
instinct,
daughters.
hey?
I just couldn't do it.
100%.
So I just
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
stay true to who I am, and it might take, add a couple more Ks onto the road.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to walk it, I guess,
No.
as frustrating as it can be.
Yeah.
And for someone like me, I think it's finding acceptance,
Mm.
acceptance in who you are,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
staying true to who you are, and acceptance that you will never fit in.
Yeah.
All your people will never accept you, and the wider community will never accept you, and you're always just going to walk in the middle, and you'll find your people along the way,
The
and
right
they'll come in
people will.
all different shapes, sizes, and colours, and I'll just rock with them and
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
with that, because I feel like there was a time there where I was so upset and disappointed that all of my people weren't happy and weren't loving acceptance of me, that it was just killing me. So I had to come to a point where I was like, I just got to be me, and as long as everyone in my household's happy and supportive, that's all I need. I think we're in a time, with Lele and her music, she can talk on it. She's probably one of the first ever West Papuans to, women to do the style that she's doing and breaking it open and carving out that platform. And, for us too, I think we're always going to have our culture and our law and our ceremonies and all these beautiful ancient practices, but we also have to let go and allow that to manifest and evolve into a contemporary setting so we can continually engage our young people and bring them back. Like I've heard people on red carpets and all kinds of things go, look, I don't think culture and music and culture and these things, you know, in terms of the radio space, they blend or work. It's not about that. But for me, it's like, well, we need to think bigger than that because we've got some of the highest suicide rates in the world in our young people. You know, the list goes on and on and on. And a lot of it comes back to that disassociation with identity, belonging, connectiveness, and knowing who you are. And that was my thing, is so many of our mob, and you would have seen it growing up, walking around the streets with one leg rolled up with a limp with a 50-cent shirt on, breaking and stealing cars and not knowing who they are. And my thing was like, well, I got to step on this stage and bring all of who I truly am. And that's, you know, the contemporary world. It's bright colours, it's fashion, but also rock my headdress and culture because there's actually nothing more gangster than coming from the oldest living culture on the planet. So we gotta rock that and celebrate that. Yeah. But, you know, that's a hard thing too for a lot of people to understand. You know, like we're 60,000 years old, but we're also here in this world. And we've got to continually engage our kids back to that fire, and we can only do that through pop culture because that's what they're into. That's what they love.
Engaged in,
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. Look, I feel like identity is so powerful to a young person's like well-being.
Well, speaking of identity, this episode's going to actually go out, correspond with Jan 26, right? So it's a time where the rest of the community seems to have an opinion on our identity. But you've got an exciting project around that time.
Yeah,
Are you able to tell us about it?
You can announce it, Lele. Do it.
Okay, so we are releasing a duet.
Ooh,
Mitch and I.
Okay.
And it is
We're getting insight here.
a very, very popular song that everybody knows. It's our version of My Island Home.
Stop! I was literally, when you were talking before, I was like, because I know the voice obviously, but I was like, the song that I grew up on was My Island Home by Christine.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Seriously.
But even before that, Warumpi Band,
Warumpi
right?
Band.
Exactly.
Yes.
Grumpy
Yes.
Band.
So
Yes.
hers is the iconic cover.
Yes.
But
it's their song.
Yeah.
Yes.
How cool.
So
Epic.
how did it come about and why did you choose the song?
Do your thing, girl.
Well, obviously, growing up, like I've been a fan of Christine Anu, and especially that song. But it also ties our story in together really well.
Yeah.
And My Island Home for me means when I listen to it, I always long for Papua, for my home.
Yeah.
You know, it's so close to Australia.
Yeah.
And actually, I had we had a gig up in, where is it called?
Bamaga.
Bamaga, have you guys been there? It's up. So that's
very point.
the most northern tip of Australia. Like we got to walk out there and there was a sign saying you're standing on the most northern tip. And you can see the straits. And for me, I get really emotional because just over the straits is my country, is where I come from.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys know much about West Papua, but we've been fighting for our independence for over 60 years. And we have this, Mitch and I often talk about this because we both, like I'm a refugee living away from my country, but I know my family, I know my culture really well, and so does Mitch, but he's still, as well as a lot of black fellas in this country, still often feel like refugees in their own country.
Totally.
And, you know, and we share that connection. So My Island Home for both of us held really different meanings, but the same at the same time, if that makes sense.
Totally. And I think it was about, you know, we talked about it a lot.
Yeah.
And then like when this come around, we decided to do this. It was like, well, you know, we need to do it and release it in, you know, today, 2025, because how many people are here now from so many different walks of life that call this place home? Like Lele and I are married. I'm here. My roots are here, but Lele's are, you know, just over the other side there in West Papua, and she longs for home. But now this place is home. Wow. So, you know, when you think about it, you know, people come here, go on a random Tinder date, fall in love, and they never leave. Some people flee, you know, war-torn countries. They're refugees, like Lele, bounce from country to make it here. And then everything our people has gone through. But we all stand here together, and this is home. And, you know, what a beautiful home it is. So we wanted to do this song really to just reflect on, I suppose, Australia's always been multicultural. Before it was colonised, our people were different. We traded, it was multicultural, but really reflect and celebrate on this multicultural place that it is today that we all live in, I guess. So
So excited.
to get the rights to a cover, what is it? Is it about picking up the phone and calling the Warumpi band and saying, "Hey, can we do your song?"
writers,
Or how does it work?
Yeah, so every time we do it, we reach out to the writers. We find out who actually wrote the song.
Yeah.
And go through the process of, we'll send them translations, whatever, reverse translations, and talk through our intent and go through a lengthy process to get it approved. Sometimes it's quick, but often or not, it takes time and a lot of patience.
And so I'm guessing there's language from both, or
Oh, well, yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
It could be some things.
Oh, okay.
There's some language. Okay.
Yeah.
It's really exciting. I mean, it's a really great time also because obviously our identity is a question at this time of year as First Nations people, but it's an empowering anthem for mob, but it's also a learning tool, for the rest of the country as well. So what an exciting time for both of you. And it's your first official duet as both names, would you say?
Well, we've done a prelude in Christmas, Channel 9 Carols last year. So that was kind of like the taste tester, our version of Amazing Grace.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's kind of like, people, we're husband and wife. We might as well just sing a song.
Yeah.
And then
we love
I
singing
was
together.
like, we'll just do a bit of Island Home.
Yeah.
Throw that in.
Chuck it in there. So, it's beautiful. And I think it's great. I mean, she's played some of the biggest music festivals in the world and prior to us meeting and stuff. And she's been there supporting me the whole way and traveling and touring. So it's really beautiful that, Lele's got her own project, Voice of Lele, and she's out there doing her own thing. And she's got a bunch of songs out. And, it's just, I love that I get to duet with her and we get to sing and do this journey together. Because you know what? It's so funny. Every time we go somewhere, Lele, people are like, how do you go working with your wife, mate? Jeez. Or they'll be like, how do you go working with Mitch? That must be bloody terrible.
Yeah.
Well,
I
no,
love it.
I
I would not want it any other way, honestly. It's
Totally.
like, I want what
It's
you
always
guys
have.
Yeah.
Where do I find that?
So, I mean, we're doing our
Australia's Got
thing.
Talent. Nah.
Yeah, hey, get some going confetti. We'll go buy some reject shop there. Boy, we can't walk out of the bush somewhere. But
I'm here.
No, just leave your hair around.
that's it.
somewhere.
Leave your hand around. Hey,
Don't be stupid.
but before you kick us off, just want to let you know.
Mm.
Last year we did this incredible youth tour. It's called the Wallumbah Youth Tour. We did over 100 shows, and Lele jumped on that tour because I would do these workshops with kids and youth festivals, and would rock out. But then all of a sudden, the girls would just beeline me, and they'd be past me and beeline Lele, and run to her and just want to know all about it. And she hadn't even spoken a word, so I was like, you better come on this tour, girl. Start singing.
Yeah.
So Lele done the tour, and it was such a success. We're going again this year, and a whole nother youth tour, and it's just all about giving back to kids. And we made the commitment that, it's not just about big stages, that wherever you want us, if we're in your community, we're going to do our best to make it happen. And we're not going to do this, this year we want to once again just make it all about the youth and the next generation. And we'll still be doing all our normal shows and adult stuff, but if you're out there, and you just want us to come party with the next generation, we just want to come and give back. And Lele's doing a bunch of workshops with young sisters as well, because we've seen, I don't know about you brother, but and you sis, when we grew up, there just wasn't anything for the sisters. There was nothing. There's heaps of brothers would come in and dance and do stuff, but there really wasn't much.
No, I agree.
So it was like she's doing a bunch with our mob and all kind of sisters, refugee backgrounds and stuff, and a whole party, and we're doing our thing together and traveling, and we got our kids on the road just doing the big juggle, and
all in our
it's really
piled in our Kia Carnival.
we're getting that Kia Carnival.
Too good.
People, I go to
that should be
schools.
sponsored. Kia Carnival, come on, sponsor these
come on,
ones.
Kia.
Please. I mean, Toyota, I tried you, Bob. You don't want to buy that 12-seater van. I got a Kia now.
All right.
Anyway.
But what we will do is we'll put some stuff in the show notes to
Do it.
make sure that people have your email and
Please.
they can connect
awesome.
directly with you
Yeah.
or your management.
Yes.
And where can they find My Island Home?
Woo, you can go to all
on
digital platforms. Go
Yeah,
let's
all
do
the
it.
digital platforms, and
Yeah.
we've filmed a beautiful visualizer video clip of it.
Beautiful.
And everywhere: YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, our socials, everywhere.
Lele,
Yeah.
wait.
What?
Yeah, we're on this
What's my
podcast is winning awards. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I want you to intro this duet
Yeah.
like we're here on one of the biggest podcasts on Australia.
Okay, then you should do
we
it.
all want to see your energy right here, right now. Everyone, this is the voice of Lele.
Yeah.
She's so pumped to be duetting with her husband, Mitch Tambo. She's so pumped to be with her husband and just singing with her man and just her other half.
So cute. I can't
She's
do it.
here on one of the biggest podcasts in the country.
I don't
She's so
have
excited.
the gift of the gab.
Yeah,
like
you
Just
my husband.
announce what they're doing together. So, voice of Lele, can you please intro?
This is
What have you got
actually
coming
ridiculous. Tabam Mufa, this is Voice of Lele.
up? Yama yama, everyone. I'm Mitch Tambo, and this is our brand new single.
My Island Home.
Woo! Hope you enjoy it. Yanni Ungali. Brrr, go!
Oh, what an incredible yarn. We are so grateful to have both of you on. But that's all we have time for today. So if you love what you hear, leave us a little rating and a little review.
And if you want to tell us anything, follow us on socials. My handle is at Brooke.Blurton. Maddie's is at It's Maddie Mills. And you guys, where can we find you on socials?
Well, you can find me at Mitch Tambo across everything because you know what? You got to be across everything. What about you, Lele?
Totally.
Yep, Voice of Lele across everything as well.
Oh, deadly. Okay, well, make sure you go and follow this mob, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.